All right, so I got a quick video to do. I didn't do a video today, and I wanted to talk about. I wanted to be fair when talking about this, but I didn't prepare anything, so so it's gonna be what it's gonna be, which is one of the things that makes my videos unique. Anyways, I wanted to talk about policing and the police organization. Um, Now, what am I gonna talk about? Well, you know what, man. The biggest police organization that I know of, or one of the most internationally known organizations, and one of the biggest organizations, police organizations in the world, which is not that far from me, is New York City, NYPD. Um, Now, am I gonna get into what makes a good officer or a bad officer? Absolutely not. There might not even be such a thing. People are part of one organization, and they behave one way regardless of who's nice or bad or whatever the case is. Um, is that the same all over the world? And that's a very good question. Are police organizations the same all around the world? I don't believe so. Um, what can I compare them to? Would I compare them to another state that's just like a gigantic state? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And there's a reason the one of the well, two main reasons I chose NYPD is one, everybody knows about the NYPD. It's a big deal, and number two, it's quite close to me location wise, so that's why I went with it. Um, and I've talked about the police community before. And I'm not gonna get into conspiracy theories, who shot what and who shot up whatever. And I'm not gonna lay claim to anything like that. That's I'm not gonna do any of that. But yeah, I'm sure policing is considered different everywhere in the world. You know what? Everything is considered different everywhere in the world. Doesn't matter what you're talking about. You could be talking about education. You could be talking about any kind of profession, colleges, hospitality, all sorts of business. Everything is always different in different parts of the world. Do I have any criticisms for the NYPD? No. The first video I did, I ended up trashing the police because I just felt like I didn't share the morals of their community. Well, that brings me to the point. Do I agree with everything that the NYPD does? No, I do not agree with everything that the NYPD does. I don't even like the NYPD, to be very honest. Does that mean that I hate them? Does that mean that I'm gonna berate them? No, there's no, there's nothing as such when it comes to the NYPD like that. But yeah, there are some things that I don't like, and there are people who, and I've talked about this before. They have, and it's not just the NYPD. It's something that exists in other organizations as well in New York that I find, and it's kind of like they don't want to accept somebody who's at a different level. And if you really want to doubt me, and I'm gonna be friendly when it comes to real stuff. I'm gonna throw in a fictional comedy, action comedy, which was Hot Fuzz. Okay, you remember the beginning? They show how I keep thinking Nicolas Cage, but I forget his name. Nick or Nicholas is they show him how amazing of an officer he is. He passes all the tests with flying colors, beats everybody. Starts his policing career in metropolitan London, England, and already he's in like these big things that are happening, and he's getting awards and stuff and recognized. And what do? They want to ship him off to I forgot what the place, St. Gloucestershire or some kind of village area, little village. I don't know where out to where, and and the movie goes on. I'm not gonna talk about the movie, but I really like that as an example. It was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. It was a Western world. It was a major international city. It was London, England, And right at the beginning, the way they showed how how Nicholas was an exceptional officer, and at the same time how they wanted to distance themselves from him and just send him out to nowhere, because he was making them look bad. And what do they do afterwards? Like when they come back at the end of the movie and they go, "Hey, would you like to come back? Because we're doing really bad without you." Now what I start saying that, I'm like, no, I'm not trying to, does not have to do with me being Nicholas from that movie, Hot Fuzz, at all. It's just an example to show you that overachieving can actually hit you negatively. It's like me doing so, like, okay, so I have from the last video I made about this was like many months ago. I mean, it was like 3 or 4 months ago, and I'm not throwing myself into any kind of as of now, I don't throw myself into, I'm solo, there's nobody like me and I'm the best or anything like that. I don't think like that. I always try to associate myself with others who may be in the same boat or the same situation. Now I'm not. I've never applied for. I've never tried to join not the police community, but like actual policing. I've never tried to join them or anything like that. So I can't say, they do this wrong and they do that wrong, and I don't know any of their personal business. I just know that they don't like my type of person, and that I know for sure. Is that racially motivated? Am I coming from a racial perspective? A little bit, and I'll explain that. I feel like, and I know this is gonna really sound very bad. I do sometimes feel like I see some white people, and I feel like they're like white trash, and you might say that's a horrible thing to say, and I would tell you I would have said the same thing as you. However, sometimes they will, and I found this, they'll just throw it in my face that, hey, guess what? You're gonna be behind this white guy. Ha ha ha. Hey, guess what? You're behind this black guy. Hey, guess what? You're behind this brown guy. Hey, guess what? You're behind this Oriental guy. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, you know what I mean? You feel this. I feel discrimination, but not from a racial perspective, just from a perspective like you think you're better than me for whatever reason. Your whole life you've been treated like you were better than me. Your whole life you've been treated a way that most of us have not been treated like. And you don't deserve to be even on the same level as us, let alone in front of us. Now, does that mean I could ever have a chance of joining the NYPD? Absolutely not. It would never work out. With my personality, my morals, my values, my principles, and theirs, we would never click, and it would never work out. And it doesn't matter how well I score on anything, they would never take me in. I know that, and they know that. Now, I'll tell you a little story about myself. When I was 14 years old, when I turned 14, I wanted a real job. I had done like a paper route myself. Like I'd actually, a company that I didn't know anybody. I found a company that was new and they were looking for paper kids. And I got myself a paper route when I was 12 or 13 years old. Now, when I turned 14, the only company that I knew that would hire 14-year-olds was McDonald's. And I applied there many times. I applied at multiple locations. I did my best, and they did not want to hire me at all. And I tried applying at other fast food places. They didn't want to hire me either. Okay, I turned 15, and I got a job at my local grocery store as a cashier, which was better than McDonald's. Okay. Now, is it way better? No. But is it a little bit better than McDonald's? Being in a grocery store is better than working at McDonald's. And I'm not knocking McDonald's, but that's a reality. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? That's a reality. Maybe it sounds bad of me to say. But again, I'm coming from a place where McDonald's rejected me and I got something better. You know what I mean? I tried to join the Carpenters Union. They wouldn't let me join. I was the only one in the whole class that They didn't get to join the carpenters union, which by the way has one of, I think it has the same, if not like the carpenter union and the construction business and that racket has like the same, it's kind of like an Illuminati symbol that they use, which is the same thing that the NYPD use. And they both use the same symbol, and both of them are pretty much predominantly Italian. That's like the highest rates is the Italians in both of them. So they wouldn't take me. And what did I do? I joined just your local white bread Canadian, and not white like Toronto white or New York white like those towns that nobody goes to, and they have a population of 3,000 people. You know what I mean? That kind of white. It was 14 white guys and me, the 50. I was the only guy who wasn't, really white. Like, and they were all from tiny little towns that nobody had heard of. You know what I mean? And that was a job I got, and it paid me better. Not only did it pay me better, it sent me on a flight to Vancouver. Okay, and I got to work in Vancouver, British Columbia, which is along the coast, just how California is along the coast. Vancouver is part of a state that's right on the coast of the ocean, the same coast as California. All right, I think the closest city from Vancouver is Seattle. So I got that job that was better than these guys who rejected me, and so that actually worked in my favor both times. And again, I mean, I have reason to talk badly about them. They did reject me, and another place took me, and I can talk better about them. And it's the same situation with the McDonald's and the grocery store. It's the same goddamn thing. Okay. So you see where I'm coming from. Now, if I would, and again, so if the NYPD wouldn't take me, I feel like I could join a better organization. You know what I mean? See what I'm trying to say? I don't feel like I need the NYPD to take me in. And not just the NYPD specific, just the entire police community. Why would I join the police community if I can join something better? It might not be the best, but it might just be slightly better. But why not join something slightly better? Why not be at my own business? Why not? Now, the question that I was throwing in here, and you might not remember, but earlier in the video, I threw out, different countries. So what do I know? I've been to, I went to Cuba, I went to Havana and Verdera, I went to Dominican. I can tell you that in Dominican, in the tourist area, policing is a certain way, and it's nothing fun. It can be really, I wouldn't like it. You know what I mean? Cuba is very serious, but Cuba is kind of like, they'll kill you if you fuck up kind of thing. Colombia, I can tell you, has different levels of policing. You have unarmed policemen. They might have a baton at the most, and they are unarmed, and they are in the city centers, and or in certain, they're in some some cities that are kind of far out, and they're unarmed, and they just pretty much just make sure everything's cool. And then you have your policemen who are riding around with submachine guns. You know what I mean? And you'll see them on a motorbike with a submachine gun in his hand. You know what I mean? So there's all levels of policing there, and it's all different. In Europe, I don't know about different parts of Europe what policing is like, but policing is generally a bit different. What is it like to be a genuine officer? I don't know. But, being a detective, and I've told you that the lowest of the elite in my consideration, any kind of elite police position, the lowest is detective. Like the lowest level that an elite police